Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us here today for our Travel Institute webinar. My name is Carla Smith with the Travel Institute. I'm the Director of Membership here, and I have two ladies on the phone today who are here for our session. This is Sheila Folk. She is the CEO and founder of Travel Industry Solutions. Hello, good morning. Along with Shemaine Grasso, she's the Vice President on Sales and Partnership as well. Nice to see you, ladies. Hope your week is off to a great start. Just want to check the audio. Give me a quick hello, ladies.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
and Shemaine?
Good morning.
Perfect. All is set to go. I want to take a moment to welcome you as a webinar attendee. We're happy to have you on board. If this is your first Travel Institute webinar, we are definitely happy you found us. If you're not really familiar with the Travel Institute, I'll just take a brief second here to give you an overview of who we are and what we represent in the travel industry. The Travel Institute, we're a nonprofit, and our main mission here is to train and educate travel professionals at all levels. So whether you're brand new and just getting started, this is a great organization for you to connect with. We do webinars just like this session all year long and really help you as you continue your professional education and start your travel career. And those members who've been with us for a long time, perhaps you're a premium access member or even a lifetime member, a CTA or CTC graduate, folks always seem to stay connected with our organization to get the latest training, ongoing education, and also that professional certification to help elevate your career. So that is the Travel Institute in a nutshell. I will talk a little bit about how we run our webinars here. You are all on mute. That is to avoid those dogs barking and phones ringing and so forth. But we do welcome questions, and we do want to hear from you. I know the ladies have agreed and really want to do a Q&A and help you out. That's why they're here, to help further your education. So don't be shy. Type in any questions that you have here. And at the end of the session, which should take about 35 minutes or so, we'll do some Q&A. Just make sure your questions are relevant for the entire group here. Otherwise, we can certainly take them offline. But you'll learn more about their organization, Travel Industry Solutions, how to connect with them later. But today we're going to talk about strengthening client relationships for success. So feel free, ladies, I'm going to mute myself here just to, again, avoid that background noise for the recording. But I'm here if you need me, and then definitely turn it over when you're done, and we'll do some questions and answers at the end. Thank you so much. I'll turn it over to you, ladies.
Great. Thanks so much, Carla, for having us today. As Carla mentioned, my name is Sheila Folk, and I'm the CEO and founder of Travel Industry Solutions, but I'm also a travel agency owner who went from booking $900 cruises to $1 million private jet vacations literally within a few years, and that did not happen by accident, guys. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I spent about 20 years in the hospitality space in various verticals, working with technology, product companies, hoteliers, DMCs, helping them to attract and retain clients and also garner those really important referrals from those customers. And I also spent about 5 years as a vice president for a global risk management company prior to opening my travel agency. And I cannot believe it will be 7 years coming up in November. So I'm going to talk to you today about how you can create those amazing client relationships, those relationships who return to you again and again, and those clients who refer all of their friends. And I will tell you that preparation is the key. It's really a great place to start inside of your business. So identifying areas for improvement in your existing processes. And so what do I mean by that? Maybe you are a brand new agent and you need to get business. Maybe you don't have experience or authority inside of the travel space, but you have brought forward authority from your past life. Maybe you are a seasoned agent and you're drowning. You have more business than you can handle. You're working yourself to death. And I remember those days in the very beginning. I was working really, really long hours. And I knew there had to be a better way to give myself some freedom and also achieve that profit level that I wanted inside of my business. So starting with preparation is going to really be the key to your success. So ask yourself questions about where you can improve inside of your business or what are your pain points. The next piece is it's going to be really vital to cultivate active listening skills. I know this sounds really basic, guys, but to truly comprehend what your clients are seeking, you need to actively listen to them so that you can better service their needs and document it. I told you that this was not by accident in the beginning when I started my business. I spent a lot of time listening not only to my customers, paying attention to things inside of my business that were going awry or mistakes that I was making, as well as scanning the horizon inside of this industry. And each and every time I encountered an experience, I documented it. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It could be in a spiral bound notebook, or you could use a spreadsheet. But it's really important as you start thinking about preparing or improving your processes to help strengthen these relationships that you do document this over time. And also, I wanted to finally mention that professional communication isn't just about clarity. So I'm going to talk to you about how it encompasses legal aspects, ensuring that your business and your clients' interests are protected. All right, so how do you prepare? First, I want you to define business objectives clearly because this will guide all of your actions and provide a benchmark for success. As I mentioned earlier, are you having time constraints? Are you having customers a difficult time pushing those customers and those prospects over the finish line to book with you? Are you repeating yourself? Are you having hiccups as it relates to communicating vital pieces of information to your client about their booking? You need to first start with defining what your pain points are and what the objective is that you want to achieve in strengthening those customer relationships. And I want you to next create a comprehensive checklist that will help streamline those client interactions and the booking process to enhance overall efficiency or pushing them over the line. So maybe that checklist would include things like talking about travel insurance or something basic like beds together or apart for a cruise booking or dining time. When you start to have these comprehensive checklists inside of your business, you're never going to miss a step in the booking process. You're never going to forget to communicate something vital to your customer. And also, you're going to spend less time going back and forth with customers and suppliers. I remember in the beginning when I was booking a lot of cruises, I knew I needed to ask my clients specific questions. But inevitably, I would forget and they would be ready to deposit their booking. And I'd call into the supplier and they'd say beds together or apart. And I'd go, oh my gosh. I totally blanked and I forgot to ask my customer. Time is money. And then also, when you have to go back to your customer to ask them, it feels like maybe you don't have everything together or you're not fully understanding the process in booking a cruise for your clients. So start to think about creating comprehensive checklists of all of the things that you need along the way to not only push your client over the finish line to deposit, but also work your way through some of these bookings so you don't have a lot of back and forth with your customer. And then finally, when I talk about preparation, I think it's really important not to be afraid to make small incremental improvements in your business processes, because this is what leads to long-term gains. You know, when I started my business, I had tons of experience in operational efficiency, communicating to customers at the right time, at the right cadence and interval. But I didn't understand the travel sector and what it meant to be a travel business owner. So as I was documenting and scanning the horizon, I was constantly making small incremental improvements behind the scenes so that I could communicate better with clients and I could take the thinking out of it for them. That's super important. Taking the thinking out of it for your client is what will lead to them depending on you, trusting you, looking at you as a professional business owner. So as you start to develop your communication processes, your workflows, your checklists, I want you to keep in mind that there are 3 key elements you should consider. So maybe you're leveraging AI to create some of your forms or your email communications. Do your communications protect you? Do they outline each party's responsibilities? And do they include CYA follow-up on pertinent issues like travel insurance, for instance? Your booking confirmation should be thorough. They should assure clients of their itinerary components and all of their booking details, assure that everything is handled and that they know what to do. Their responsibilities. You should include compliance information and maintain transparency and point to certain legal standards or key elements like entry and exit requirements. Also, automated reminder systems are going to be essential to minimize follow-ups and ensure all necessary precautions are in place. And I'm going to show you some examples on the next slide, so you can kind of wrap your head around what I mean here in terms of protection, automation. You know, there's a lot of systems out there, CRMs. I actually call them booking management systems inside of our sector because true CRMs will have some other functionality. However, there are many that have automation, and you can even utilize your own Gmail or Microsoft Outlook to send email communication at a future date. You can create Google Drive, Excel checklists. If you're in your 50s like me and you're still attached to that kind of old school, you know, method where I still had that telephone cord, you know, in college with the cassette tape answering machine. I like a pen and paper method for my checklist, but I do automate my email communication with my clients. So some of the things that I do inside of my business to help me to demonstrate my professionalism, demonstrate my authority, create those lasting relationships with my clients is I always send a planning and process checklist. So it'll be a timeline. It's a timeline that says you're going to start by paying your planning fee. Next step is we're going to go ahead and have a kickoff planning and research call. I'm going to craft your itinerary for you. You're going to have an opportunity for 1 to 2 revisions, and then you're going to sign my terms. You're going to pay for the booking, whether it's the deposit or the final. And then these are all the steps that I'm going to take with you after you've deposited your booking. You're going to get this reminder, this reminder. I'm going to follow up with you at this point in time. And so it outlines a complete process so that your prospects and your customers always know what's next. In addition, your booking confirmation, that should include next steps for your clients as well. That should include when final payments are going to be made, how they're going to be paid, what is your client going to be responsible for within the next 48 or 72 hours, including that all important insurance reminder, how documentation works, and then pointing back to your terms and conditions. If you are working with a prospect, on the top center, you could see there's some area that's highlighted in yellow. It's really important to communicate the whys in your proposal creation decisions. For example, maybe you met with a client who really wanted a full day tour in Rome on Monday, but the tour doesn't operate on Mondays because everything is closed. Well, instead of just sending your client a proposal that has the tour on Tuesday, why not explain in the proposal why you chose Tuesday? It's because the tour wasn't available Monday. Or maybe your client wanted a midship stateroom and that wasn't available. Tell the client, I got you mid-aft and here's why. Or I chose this particular element because you don't need that much time on this tour, or you don't need private transfers because the train station is right next door to your hotel. Once you start communicating the whys of your decisions, now you're eliminating that back and forth with your client. And that is demonstrating that you're listening to them, that you're thinking through the decisions that you're making for them. And then the legal component, pricing's not guaranteed. You need to have a provision about passports, airline ticket refund policies, and so on. So those planning and process checklists, a comprehensive booking confirmation. For those of you who are in the proposal phase, why you made specific decisions, follow-up strategies about critical things like travel insurance or when it's time to make payments, pointing to terms and conditions, and if they haven't bought travel insurance, this is your last opportunity to do so. You need to be communicating things at the right cadence. Simplicity is so incredibly important. In TIS and in my own agency, we always look at function first. Function is paramount over form. And so what do I mean by that? Those pretty email headers that you guys are obsessed with, that many agents are obsessed with, I'm here to tell you right now, your clients don't care. The only one that cares is you. Your client cares about information that is relevant to them. And by the way, most likely it's dumping your emails into spam. So as you start thinking about your strategies, you really should be focusing on function. And that's what we do inside of TIS. And that's what I do inside of my agency. Is it functioning well for my client? And is it functioning well for me? The next thing is, are you creating space to make more money? So I want you to think about how you can seize the opportunity to recommend additional activities like third-party shore excursions when you provide your booking confirmation. You've booked a cruise, why not include a paragraph with a link to your booking page for Project Expedition or whatever third-party excursion provider you're using? This gives you an opportunity to not only give your client a small group experience, and oh, by the way, in the Caribbean, There's only so many shore excursion providers anyway, and I guarantee you the cruise line is using them. So why not make 10% and give your client a small group experience? Or how about suggesting and helping them secure extra services such as dining reservations that can enhance their travel experience, and it also generate additional revenue. If you're working with a DMC or a tour operator, guess what? They'll do all the work for you. They will come up with the restaurant recommendations and they will make the dining reservations for your customer. All you need to do is let your client know that's available and charge them $100, $150, $25 per booking, whatever feels right for you. But this is a way for you to add more value to your customer, whether they're a $900 booking or a $900,000 booking. I offered these services to each and every one of my customers, and it led to the next customer, the next one, and it increased my profit time and time and time again. So develop communication strategies that include upselling as part of your routine. And this will secure increased income in a natural and client-friendly manner. The last thing is I want you to opt for tools and practices that are not only efficient, but again, bring genuine functionality to your business operations. So also don't forget that a central focus of yours should be on honest dialogue and ensuring that your client communications are clear, fair, that they're transparent. I have honest communication with my clients all the time. If they ask me a question about a particular travel product or a destination, I'm honest with them. I mean, this just came up not that long ago. I had a client who wanted to book the top suite on a luxury cruise line in a destination that is very outdoor focused. She's not an outdoorsy person, and she really didn't need a suite that large, but I was very persistent and clear with her, and she ended up booking it anyway. And interestingly enough, she did get back from the cruise recently and she wanted to chat about it. And I will remind her, I know she felt like it wasn't worth her money. She did send me a text message, and I'm going to remind her that we had this conversation. So be sure that you have that honest dialogue with customers and put it in writing and communicate that to them. I promise you, if you streamline your booking process, you can guarantee a higher level of service with your clients while also working toward really ambitious revenue targets for your agency. And I promised I was going to keep this short today, so, and allow you guys to ask me questions or Shemaine. If you want to connect with us, here's how to do it. We have a YouTube channel. You can watch videos that we've published previously, private Facebook group, Insta, and LinkedIn. And then here is our website. If you are interested in looking at solutions that are already built for you and tested and proven, feel free to visit our website. We do have 3 plans that also include all of the legal contracts you'd need for your business, as well as touch points, email communication, and Travel Institute members receive 10% off using the offer code TTI and the number 10. So Carla, I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you for the presentation and putting that slides together for everybody here. We do have some questions here. Mary just wants to know, is there a deadline on that offer? I know she said she wanted to go back and look at some of the packages that you had.
No, there's not. And as a matter of fact, you can sign up for a free account just so you can see what is inside of the portal. You won't have access to everything. However, there are quite a few free resources if you want to take a look. We do
Mm-hmm.
have lots of different tools on workflows, how to set up workflows to really enhance your client strategy, your referral and retention rate. There are some key things that I talk about in a few of those videos that go beyond just the written word and checklists. And since we have a little bit of time, I'll tell you,
Mm-hmm.
when I complete a booking, this is really, really important, guys. When I complete a booking and I add it to my CRM, the first thing that I do is I import my email automations. So I have task lists set up for each one of my email automations. So maybe it's mass market cruise, luxury cruise, FIT. Maybe you're a Disney agent and you have Disney communication as well. I import my automations right away. I set up appointment reminders to call my customer for no reason. And this is based on buckets that I have my clients in. So maybe they're bucket A, they're high dollar, high value, frequent booking clients. So maybe the calls are less infrequent, the for no reason calls, because I'm already speaking to them quite a bit. Or maybe they're in bucket B, they book with me a couple of times a year, but I do make appointments to call my clients for no reason. And I also upload my client intake form, which I fill out on the call with my clients. I never have my client fill out a form, but it includes their preferences, like their wine type, or do they need a refrigerator in their room? So
Mm-hmm.
I'll upload their preferences, and then I document in their customer profile what we talked about last time. So that way, when I pick up the phone to call them, I go, "Oh, hey, Colleen, did you ever get those Spanx shorts I told you about? And how did you like them? Because they really don't wrinkle, silly stuff like that." But it does start to cement those relationships. And then the final thing that I do is I handwrite a thank you note. I also handwrite a birthday card. And so when, let's say their birthday is in March and we're talking today. So I would date the outside where the stamp goes and I'd put it for March and I'd stick it into my shoebox for the March. And then I'd also fill out my holiday card. If you do this and not leave the booking, then it assures that you're not going to miss anything. And this is how you're going to continue to build that relationship and demonstrate that you really care about that client. So that's just one example of some of the things that we talk about inside of our webinars and other, open house. We have open house for members where we all kind of talk and get together and share best practices.
Thank you. Excellent advice. I can see that's what you did with that client you were just talking about, the one that you said didn't need that large suite on the cruise line. So you documented it there. Advised her that she may want to have a smaller, smaller cabin, right?
That's right.
The example
Or
that
the
you gave,
destination, wasn't totally right for her because she's not a
not
kayaker.
outdoor.
She's not a hiker. And she wanted to go anyway, and that was fine. But I did point out all of those things for her. And this was really the first time that she was not unhappy, but she wasn't like, wow, this was
It
the
wasn't
best
a perfect
trip.
fit. It wasn't a perfect fit, but you knew that from
That's
the
right.
get-go.
So
Is
the
that
transparency is really, really important when talking to your customers. It's not just about the dollar figure in the bottom line.
perfect? Okay, thank you. And Marina said you're incredibly organized and detailed and fantastic advice. So just wanted to share that. Julie is asking, do you fill that intake form out for every client? I know you said the phone calls might be different timing in terms of the frequency, but do you do an intake form for every single client?
I do. So my process is I have a discovery call or what I call a fit call. All right. So it's really to determine if I think that they are a right fit for me. because I don't want to work with clients that I don't think are a right fit for me. It's not about me selling who I am, but it's really understanding why they chose a travel agent, if they've worked with one in the past, what were, the hiccups that they ran into, why are they switching, what type of travel they're looking for, what type of support they're looking for from their agent, and also getting to know a little bit about them. If they're in a service-based industry, you'll find that they appreciate the value a whole lot more. This particular client and quite a few of my clients are in service-based, commission-driven industries. So I use this opportunity of 15 minutes to get to know them and understand their whys. We do have a discovery call education piece for our gold and platinum members, and we give exact questions to ask in the follow-up process. But then when I move into the planning and research phase, that is after they've placed their planning fee with me, that's when I go into creating the intake form. So if you guys are using like a Calendly or some other scheduling tool that points your customers to sign up for a discovery call, that's fine. But don't make the form so long. First of all, you can't really qualify through those long forms. You really need to have a conversation with that prospect. Use the opportunity during the planning and research call to dive deep. And what I do in my intake form is not only do I enter the information for myself, but I do a lot of FITs. And so, and then I use tour operators and DMCs to craft everything for me. I don't piecemeal myself. I send that to my TO or my DMC with a bio on my client and then a little paragraph about what they want out of the trip. So that's another trick for you guys too, to save time, because you'll hear me talk a lot about time is money, and it minimizes a lot of the back and forth. So then I also upload it to the customer record. So the next time they come back to me to book, I can open up their preference sheet and say, do you still need on-site amenities at your hotel? Do you still need a king bed? Do you still need all private drivers? Do you still like this type of wine? Do you still have this food allergy? So that demonstrates to my clients that I've listened and I'm prepared for the next trip. I know that was a really long answer, but I think it's really important to go in and explain how these forms really should be used inside of your business and connected to each and every one of your customers.
Good, thank you. Amber has a question here. She's a fairly new agent, and she's looking to you to ask this question, basically. What recommendations do you have about finding good DMCs in locations that these advisors may not already have any relationships in? So she's just basically looking for your tips to how do you find those good vetted DMCs that you want to work with?
So it took me a while, I'm not going to lie, because, when you first join a host agency, they definitely have a set of preferred suppliers, and they're not always the ground operators that we so desire for these highly curated types of trips. So I do a lot of private jet trips now, and I have clients who want to have a custom fitting at Chanel, or they want to have a watch experience in Switzerland, or maybe they want dinner inside of a local's home. It does take a while to figure out how to identify them, to learn who inside of the industry is trusted and you can rely on them for your recommendation, for their recommendation, because let's face it, here's a perfect example. Luxury does not mean the same to every person. So it's hard to rely on recommendations all the time from agents. Network inside of your host agency. You'll find more experienced agents who can guide you. I also recommend another tool. It's called Reposit. So reposit.io. I am very close with the founder of that company. It's a marketplace for small operators all over the world to connect to travel agents. It's really a great platform to find those little hidden gems. And that would be a really great place to start with you. And also looking for some of those events that draw these smaller operators. So ILTM in Europe is a great one. GTM is another great one. Uh, you know, be curious, look around, ask other agents.
Good advice, good advice, and you can see what fits for you. I did type in that URL for reposit.io. I just want to make sure I have it correctly. It's reposite.io, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, folks, you can check that website out that she recommended and see if you can learn anything there. There's a few folks here that typed in they found you on YouTube, so they started following you and subscribed on YouTube, your travel industry solutions page. Looks like the last questions that are coming in are all revolving around service fees, and looks like Lisa in particular was looking to see how many years before you were in the business before you implemented and rolled out your service fee plan? And if looking back, what would you have done differently?
I would have started sooner. I was a little hesitant to do it in the beginning because I wanted the business. And I wanted to work with everybody, and I wanted to work with everybody because I looked at it as an opportunity to learn something new. So I don't prescribe to a lot of the mentality of the chatter inside of some of the social channels about, well, they're just just cut them loose. They're not the right one for you, or they want too much out of you. I think that you should look at every client as, or a prospect as, an opportunity to learn something new as you are just entering this industry. What I did though, when I was looking to put my toe in the water, was I didn't have a plan to go fee because I was a hosted agent, and I'm still a hosted agent today. And so host agencies, it's not that they hate you, it's that they're not set up to do plan to go fees. So what I would do is provide my clients with an opportunity to get, for instance, 5 cruise ideas for a fee of $100, and then I would give them $50 in shipboard credit. And a lot of times my host agency or consortia had that amenity, or I could go to my BDM and the BDM would throw in that $50. So I would give them the onboard credit after they made the final payment and before sailing. So that was a way for me to ease into it. The other thing that I did though, after I realized that, you know what, people were willing to pay for my expertise, is I was just very confident and matter of fact about my fees. So I don't believe in putting together these long posts that explain why you're worth a fee, or sending out this mass email to all of your existing clients about why you're going to start charging fees now. Just say it matter of factly. Okay, great. I'm really looking forward to working with you on this. I'm going to go ahead and send over my invoice for my planning fee. Let me know if you have any questions, and leave it at that. The other thing though that I wish I had done earlier was to charge change and cancellation fees. I did not do this until much later, probably if I had to guess, around like year 3. I didn't connect the dots as to how much time it really took for me to make a change to a booking, especially if it had like a spillover effect. So let me give you an example. I have booked an FIT and it's deposited, and I was like, yes, they deposited. I'm, in the home stretch. Well, one night, guess what? It was a Saturday night. The wife broke out the bottle of wine in her computer and she went online to look at other tours because she thought maybe she wanted to change a tour in this particular city. And now she wants to add on an additional night's stay. So she reaches out to me and she says, by the way, I want you to cancel this tour and this tour. And I went ahead and booked an additional night stay in Marseille. So I'm going to need you to change all of the downstream components. And you go, oh my gosh, I have to cancel the tours. I've got to change the hotels. I've got to change the driver or the shared transportation. I've got to maybe change the travel insurance because the price of the trip has changed. You have to touch each and every one of those components. That costs you time. Not only do you have to touch it, but now your commission has been reduced because you're having to cancel components. So what I started doing was charging $25 per person per component that I had to touch. And I never had pushback, but it also, what it started to do was I noticed with those clients who would periodically do those types of things to me, it deterred them from doing it in the future. Cruises are another good example. I have a lot of retirees as clients. And so they're constantly monitoring all of these cruise promotions. And you and I both know it's not applicable once you're booked. A lot of it is a bunch of bunk, but you have to spend time going back to the cruise line and investigating. So I would say, fine, I'll give you one refare or one complimentary looky-loo or change, but anything after that is going to be $25 per person per component. So I would have to adjust the insurance. I would have to adjust the cruise fare, so that would reduce my commission if it was a refare. Or a lot of times the promotion wouldn't be applicable, but at least I was covering my time. Or in the case of my assistant, I do have an assistant, and I've had an assistant for many years, which really helped me to focus on my money-making activities. But it allowed me to recoup some of that time and expense. Cancellation fees vary for me. It really just depends on the trip. Since I now book really more in that real high-end space, I do base it on the trip. So for instance, I have a client who books the Regent World Cruise every year in a named suite. They had to cancel the 24 because of their home build being delayed, and I charged them $5,000. So, but for a standard client, I may stick to the $25 per person, or you could make it a percentage of the booking, whatever feels good to you. But I really, really wished that I would have charged the change and cancellation fees much earlier on, because we focus so much on the planning fee in our business, but people don't focus on the change and cancellation as much. And that can really eat into your profitability when you have to go through all of those steps.
Good advice again. Thank you, Sheila. We do have one final question here, and it was talking about something that you mentioned earlier when you said, as an agent, you didn't take on every single client that came your way. You sort of spoke to them, and you kind of said this in a way, one way or another, that you just basically knew, did you want to take them on? You made that decision. For the ones that you turned away, that you didn't want to work with or book their travel, did you recommend them to another advisor specifically with a
Always.
name? Or yeah.
Always. I always did that. And I do it today. As a matter of fact, I recently had to stop booking travel because we now have over 20 people that work inside of TIS. We have grown so quickly and have so many members inside of TIS. So now I refer all of my clients out, except for two that I will keep because they've been with me so long and they're easy peasy kind of clients. But always, you know, if I'm not a Japan expert, even back then I would say, hey, Susie, I know you're well versed in Japan. Why don't we do a commission split on this? And so we had a referral agreement in place. So I have done that with many agents. I just sent a 75-person cruise group to another agent. And then there was another one that I sent. It wasn't as big, 20-person cruise group, some FITs. So yes, and the thing that's really important about this is about developing relationships with certain colleagues is that you're demonstrating you really care about that client. And I've never, ever had a client not come back to me because I've sent them to book a different trip with another agent.
Yeah, basically it says that you were looking out for them. Right,
It
right.
shows that I was looking out for them. And it does take time to cultivate those agents. And I will tell you, there are some agents that I've sent bookings to, and they did not live up to the way that I handle my business. And it was very obvious. And I got feedback from my customers. So I didn't send those agents bookings again.
Yeah, that's what you hate hearing, right? I know it's like that. You keep your fingers crossed that you're doing the right thing, but it doesn't always pan out that way.
Yeah, not everybody works the same way. And sometimes it's just because we don't know what we don't know. And so the reason I created TIS is because I didn't want other agents to make the mistakes that I made, to benefit from the testing and the learning and the years of documenting and tweaking. And that's just on the soft skills side of the TIS solutions, which is huge, you know, huge value outside of what we're really known for, which is all of our legal protection and the credit card vault and the e-sign and the dynamic document creation on demand per user. I did not want other agents to feel the way that I felt and to have to struggle for so long. There's no reason for it.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for your honest, your feedback. You can tell from all your experiences, very genuine. We appreciate that. And I know the attendees have typed in similar comments, Sheila, speaking from your experience, which is obviously years and years of experience. I know a lot of folks on this call are new to the industry and they're looking for all these tips and ideas that you gave them. So thank you so much.
Carla,
looks like yes.
I just wanted to say that obviously this time is incredibly valuable for these advisors to have time with Sheila. So I just wanted to say too, every week we, TIS, host live demos. You can find that at the bottom of our website, travelindustrysolutions.com. You can come in if you're not yet a member. If you're a member, we have separate calls. It's incredible, obviously, to have time with Sheila and her experience, but also to let us show you around this slick technology that will save you time, you know, help you a few minutes to know where to navigate and how, right, Sheila? So come in, register for a demo, or if you're a member already, thank you. We'd love to see you. And it's incredible how, you know, these sound bites and little tips and tricks that you hear today
can shave off the time. Right,
well,
right, shave off that time.
Here's the thing. This is the power of relationships and doing things right. So within my first year, I became a top seller for Regent Seven Seas Cruises. I had never heard of the cruise line before I became a travel agent. As a matter of fact, my travel agency name to start with was so stupid. It didn't fit anything that I did. But I really want someone at my host agency encouraged me to look at Regent. And we do get into supplier relationship stuff, but I leveraged my BDMs inside of Regent. And over the years, Shemaine and I developed a really close relationship. So for those of you on the call who don't recognize Shemaine, she was the vice president for strategic accounts for Regent for 20 plus years. And when I was ready to take the leap to bring in another forward facing person inside of TIS, we had this history. She knew what I was capable of doing inside of my own business, and then had started to see the results with other agents, even with their inbound reps, who my inbound rep that I use at Regent is #1, and he'll tell you he's #1 because of the things that I started to teach him along the way in how to service agents better so they could service their clients better. But it's really powerful and humbling to think that I could have Shemaine. I mean, it's like I go, oh my gosh. Every day I go, I cannot believe that of all the opportunities you had, you chose us. And so just remember that every little move you make every day inside of your business is so important to cementing those relationships. And I know we're up against the clock now, so I'm gonna.
No, that was good ending. No, that was good ending advice. It really is all about who you know, the partnerships, the relationships, who you deal with. You want them to be a representation of yourself, you know, who you align yourself with. So that those are good ending words for sure. Good advice for everybody. And like you said, everything you do every day plays into that. So thank you so much, ladies. Again, we've typed in the chat box, we've typed in the travel and solution, so folks that way. I know you do other tips to that other website that you suggested. So I'm just looking at a lot of thank you, ladies. Thank you. They learned a lot. Great. Thank you. And we do, as all of our Travel Institute webinars, we always send out a webinar feedback form. So everybody on the call, when you receive that, please let us know how we can improve future sessions, what other topics you'd like to hear from the Travel Institute. And then definitely, as Charmaine said, go to their Travel Industry Solutions website, look at some of those demos, familiarize yourself with that, and then, you know, educate other travel advisors who are looking to learn more and who could possibly benefit from this. Sharing your knowledge can only help everyone. So thank you so much. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you so much, ladies. We're glad you have you on board today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.